The long-standing rivalry between India and Pakistan has escalated to alarming levels in May 2025. With fears of imminent military conflict, Pakistan has claimed it possesses credible intelligence that India is planning imminent military action, while India has vowed to respond decisively to a recent terror attack in Kashmir. Tensions between India and Pakistan have reached their highest point since 2019, following a deadly attack on April 22, 2025 in Pahalgam, a town in Indian-controlled Kashmir. The attack killed 26 people, predominantly Indian tourists, triggering a rapid escalation in hostilities. India has directly accused Pakistan of backing the attack, notably without providing any concrete evidence, an allegation that Islamabad vehemently denies. In response, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has vowed to pursue the attackers to the ends of the earth, while his Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, announced that Indian forces have been given a free hand to respond decisively. The situation has deteriorated rapidly, with Pakistan's Information Minister Ataullah Tarar claiming on May 1 that intelligence indicates India could launch an attack within 24 to 36 hours. Pakistan has warned that any military adventurism by India would be responded to assuredly and decisively. This exchange of threats has raised international alarm, with UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres urging both nations to avoid a confrontation that could result in tragic consequences. Both countries have implemented several measures that signal preparation for potential conflict. India has suspended the crucial Indus Waters Treaty, a move Pakistan has termed unlawful and an act of war. Additionally, India has ordered all Pakistani nationals to leave its territory, while both countries have closed their airspace to each other's aircraft. Military readiness has been heightened on both sides, with minor skirmishes already reported along the line of control, the de facto border in the disputed Kashmir region. These developments suggest a dangerous pattern of escalation that echoes previous confrontations, most notably the 2019 incident when India conducted military strikes in Pakistan, following an insurgent attack in Kashmir, and Pakistan shot down 2 Indian aircrafts and captured one of the Indian Air Force pilot, Abhinandan, when Indian Air Force breached Pakistan airspace. Historical analysis by U.S. intelligence found a 20% chance of war between the countries during the 1990s, with a high risk that miscalculation could lead to conflict. The current situation appears to present similar risks of miscalculation leading to unintended broader conflict. The military balance between India and Pakistan reveals significant disparities in size, budget, and capabilities. India boasts the world's 4th largest military, while Pakistan ranks 12th globally. India maintains a substantial manpower advantage with approximately 1,455,550 active personnel, more than double Pakistan's 654,000. This numerical superiority gives India considerable strategic depth for sustained operations and rapid mobilization. In terms of defense spending, the gap is even more pronounced. India's defense budget for 2025 to 26 stands at 6,81,210 crore rupees, approximately $78.57 billion, reflecting a 9.5% increase from the previous year. By contrast, Pakistan's proposed defense allocation is 2,281 billion rupees, approximately $8.19 billion, marking a 7.49% increase. This means India's defense budget is nearly 10 times larger than Pakistan's, allowing for significantly greater investment in advanced weapons systems, training, and military infrastructure. Both countries are prioritizing military modernization, though with different capabilities and approaches. India's defense strategy emphasizes self-reliance through its Atmanirbhar Bharat, Self-Reliant India initiative. Its capital budget for defense of 1,80,000 crore rupees, US $20.76 billion, is being directed toward indigenous production of light combat aircraft, helicopters, drones, and next-generation weaponry. India is also investing in cutting-edge technologies such as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and surveillance systems for its armed forces. Pakistan, despite economic constraints, has allocated $1.44 billion to its Armed Forces Development Program, AFDP, focusing on modernization through strategic partnerships, particularly with China. These efforts include acquisitions of J-35 stealth jets and JF-17 Thunder aircraft. A defining feature of the India-Pakistan military balance is their shared status as nuclear powers. This mutual deterrent has largely prevented full-scale wars over the past 5 decades, despite recurring crises. However, it also means any conventional conflict risks nuclear escalation, drastically raising the stakes. Nuclear deterrence has historically enforced restraint, but that stability depends on rational leadership and robust command systems, both of which could falter in a fast-moving crisis. India is currently the world's fastest-growing major economy, with IMF forecasts of 6.2% growth in 2025 and 6.3% in 2026. Despite global trade tensions and uncertainty, India's strong macroeconomic fundamentals give it greater capacity to withstand military and economic shocks. However, even for India, war would come at a high cost, disrupting trade, increasing inflation, and diverting resources from development. Income inequality remains a concern, with the top 1% owning 58% of the wealth, and conflict could worsen these disparities. Pakistan faces far greater economic vulnerability. The IMF projects just 2.6% growth in 2025, well below official targets. Government spending and debt levels are rising, while inflation and interest payments limit fiscal flexibility. Defense already consumes 2.8% of GDP. These pressures make it difficult for Pakistan to sustain prolonged conflict. War could push its fragile economy into crisis, with severe consequences for stability and public welfare. Although direct trade between India and Pakistan is minimal, conflict would impose massive economic costs on both sides. It would disrupt regional trade, energy flows, and investment, with ripple effects across global supply chains and markets. India risks undermining its ambitions as a global economic leader, while Pakistan faces the possibility of financial collapse and the need for international rescue. Neither can afford the economic fallout of war. Geopolitically, Pakistan has deepened its partnership with China, including military technology cooperation, e.g., J-35 jets, JF-17 aircraft. This creates a strategic counterweight to India's conventional superiority. India, meanwhile, has strengthened ties with the US, Japan, and Australia through the Quad framework, boosting its geopolitical standing and influence in international forums. The global community has responded to current tensions with urgent calls for restraint. United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has emphasized the risks of escalation. If conflict worsens, third-party mediation will become crucial. Still, diplomacy depends on both nations' willingness to engage. A conflict between nuclear-armed neighbors would carry global implications, making peace not only a regional priority but a global necessity. While current public sentiment isn't well documented, history shows that nationalism tends to rise during India-Pakistan tensions. In both countries, governments often face domestic pressure to appear strong, making de-escalation more challenging. Kashmir remains a deeply emotional and symbolic issue for both populations, beyond its strategic value. This makes political compromise difficult. Media narratives further intensify nationalist feelings, often hindering measured policy decisions. To avoid escalation, urgent steps are needed. Reopen direct communication between leaders, engage international mediators like the UN, and pull back troops along the line of control. Reversing punitive measures, such as airspace restrictions and treaty suspensions, can rebuild trust. An independent investigation into the Pahalgam attack could address security concerns and allow Pakistan to show transparency. What are your thoughts on the potential for conflict and the possibility for peace between these two nuclear-armed neighbors?